How you doing? You good? Good. Good. I hope you're good. Let me tell you, this year has been the year of the fucking clown show. Alright. I don't know what happened this year, but basically I've been having health problems for a while, right? Um, or just like health incidents that were kind of debilitating. Like earlier around April-ish, I was having massive explosions of energy in my third eye, and which was pretty much debilitating, right? It's the type of thing where like you basically are like praying to whatever thing would save you from the energy. Thankfully, by the end of May, it pretty much calmed down, and I thank God that, or thank the universe that it hasn't, I haven't experienced a surge like that ever since. So that's good. But we're not here to talk about that. By the title of this video, you can already guess that I'm gonna talk about Rona, King Rona. This is a crazy ass motherfucker, right? In early August, I don't know exactly the date, right? I caught COVID. Pretty much one of the hardest, not the hardest experiences in my life, but it's up there. It's up there. um, yeah, and I'm making this like vlog as sort of my um, I'm I've had a little bit of distance from it, so I've had a little bit of time to process it. And I'd just like to go into what it was like for me, especially dealing with long-term COVID. And if you're dealing with this, number one, I salute you, okay, because it is not an easy disease at all, okay. And yeah, so let's just get into it, okay. I have no idea how my family got COVID. I was staying with my parents at the time. Um, what I remember is my dad, I'm pretty sure this is correct. My dad caught it first, right? And he gave it to my mom and I. Basically, I mean, it's pretty much inevitable. There's no way you can escape it if you're living in the same house. So, interestingly, my dad was only sick for like what, 3 days or something. After that, he was totally fine. But okay, we'll go in more into like my dad's recovery and everything like that. But it didn't affect him much at all, or hardly. Now, I've read that, of course, even if you don't have a lot of symptoms, you can still like get a lot of lung damage, things like that. And I am very concerned, especially since like my parents are kind of elderly right now, or approaching the golden years. And so that's something I wish they'd take more seriously. um, I feel like people feel like they are pretty much invincible until something happens to them, which was kind of, well, not really the case with me, but it was I kind of felt like, okay, before I even caught COVID, I was a bit worried, you know. Oh, here's a fucked up thing, all right? I had a really bad nightmare like 2 weeks before this shit happened, of like basically my family, including me, like coughing a lot, like really sick, right? No one died, but it was like serious. And then I woke up from that. I was like, I need to get the vaccine, right? And I was going to go get the vaccine, but my dad my dad persuaded me not to get it, right? Um, because okay, eh, okay, I shared a lot of my concerns. Like, this thing is pretty serious. We should probably get vaccinated, get some kind of protection. And he said, yeah, well, he wants to go to where he's teaching and basically see what the teachers over there, the vaccines they have taken, basically. And from that gauge, because we're in Kenya right now, and from the teachers' responses, he wants to see if like they're giving out decent vaccines and all that. There's a lot of bullshit to do with vaccines over here, you know, like fake vaccines, all that crap. There's a lot of that. Anyway, that was what was going on 2 weeks before, right? He persuaded me not to get it. The worst decision in my one of the worst decisions in my life, because I could have at least like really managed or potentially gotten less severe symptoms from COVID if I had gotten the vaccine. And I should have listened to my intuition. I have a very good intuition, and my subconscious knows a lot of shit. It tells me shit that I don't want to know, but it still tells me. But anyway, my dad got it first. He was pretty sick, not terribly sick. What we did was basically we're making like a combination of turmeric and black pepper. You know what can you do? Like, I've heard like this stuff like ivermectin that possibly could help it, but there's no known cure right now. You just, if you catch it, you better hope that your immune system is up to the challenge, basically. Um, he recovered fairly quickly. Like I said, within like 3 or so days, he was pretty much done with it. But my mom and I got it pretty bad. Okay, originally I didn't have a lot of symptoms. To me, it was just like a medium to bad cold. For about like 4 days, it was like that. It really wasn't anything major, right? My mom was very, very ill. She was basically bedridden. She couldn't move. She had a lot of pain. She had a lot of back pain, up over here next to the shoulders and also on the back. Um, yeah, very low energy. She didn't tell me anything about like breathing issues, but maybe. So anyway, yeah, and I was extremely concerned, right? And I was just trying to help her, and at that time I thought, oh, thank God, like, you know, fortunately it's not that severe for me. So I'd be making her. There's this plant called Morbaine. Literally means like 40, because it's supposed to cure like 40 illnesses. It's basically it's a very bitter herb. Well, not super bitter, but it's bitter. You like boil the leaves and drink it, basically, and it does help with a lot of diseases. And I do believe that it helped us overcome COVID. Now, yeah, like I was saying, I thought I was pretty much fine. So I was helping her, like concocting stuff with her. I'll do this thing where, like, you know, you try to like visualize like light, goodness, love flowing into what you're making. And then, yeah, you do that. I'll do that for a bit because it does actually work, um, for me. And then like I'd visualize it going into the cup, like healing her and all that, and then I'll give it to her, right? By the way, my mom ended up recovering faster than me, and she's almost 40 years older than me. So I was using part of my energy, basically trying to help her, you know, because I really was like scared for her. Now, I became very ill. um, like, and the thing that bugs me the most about COVID is how long it goes on for. I was sick for an entire month. And when you're being tormented by a disease, a month is a long fucking time. I know there are people who have dealt with like severe, like terminal illnesses for years at a time, or who have like permanent disabling injuries and they have to deal with that for a lifetime. Yeah, I get it. Okay. This isn't the same, but it felt like an eternity of waking up feeling like shit, muscle pain. For yeah, I had like somebody was putting like a fucking hot iron over here. Now, I didn't have any lung symptoms, or let me get into that in a bit. But yeah, I had muscle pain, back pain, legs, just feeling like shit, you know? I can't even describe. Oh, yeah, chills, of course, you can't warm up at all. And so I would go to like take a shower to try to like warm up because I was fucking freezing, even though I had like heavy blankets on and it was freaking, I think like in the 80 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. 80 to 90. Basically, I had no reason to feel cold, but I was just going through chills, right? I would go take a shower, hot shower, and what would happen is as the steam was rising, you know, I would start feeling like dizzy or like just nauseous, right? Like symptoms of having low oxygen, which scared the shit out of me, right? Basically, like my lungs were at such a state that they could not deal with the extra steam going into them, barely like trying to they're barely getting me enough oxygen as it was, right? So showers became like only if the chills were like really bad and I'd have to like leave the door open so that the steam doesn't accumulate too much. Yeah, that was bad. So I knew I had severe lung damage. Um, Went on like that, like I said, for about a month, day in, day out, feeling like shit, muscle pain. Some days you like get a little bit better, right? And you feel like, oh, thank God, I'm out of the woodwork. Oh, thank fucking God. Next day, right back to where you started from. It went on and on and on and on. And it was an ordeal. I've never been that sick in my life. Never. And towards the end, though, what I noticed was, yeah, the bad days were pretty bad, but they weren't as bad as they used to be, right? And the good days were pretty good. I almost felt like a normal person, almost, right? And it started going like that, you know, and started having fewer bad days, more good days, right? And finally, I reached a point where I realized, oh shit, I think I've beaten this thing. Okay. Okay, so, and that was a huge relief, I'll be honest. I really am super thankful to the universe. I'm thankful, yeah, I guess to the universe. I can't really thank anything else. I would thank my immune system, but I think that's like kind of redundant, like, because it is me. I don't know. It's part of me, part of who I am. So, anyway, yeah. What else? I'm trying to remember because again, like this is a couple months later, so I've been like some of the finer details are pretty much gone. But oh yeah, during that time, most of what I would do is just like go to like Reddit and I would be reading this subreddit called like Herman Cain Awards. Yeah. Like dumb fucks who thought COVID was basically nothing and they end up dying from it. Right. Having gone through COVID, honestly, I can say if that's the way you go out, um, it's probably one of the worst ways to go, honestly. And I feel a lot of like sympathy for people who've died from it because it is brutal. Yeah. Like not being, oh, I'll get into the not being able to breathe part and my long term COVID symptoms in a bit. But I can't imagine going out by such a horrible disease. And I feel a lot of sympathy for families that have been affected. You know, millions have died. You know, it's this pandemic was crazy. So yeah, I think that's mostly what I wanted to say about my symptoms. Yeah, the main thing is just how long it lasted. It was crazy. And yeah, okay. And it's still going on in its own way, right? After I had beaten it, and for like in early September, for like a week, I felt like this like rejuvenation sense, like, oh shit, I just overcame like a major battle. And my body did. And there was a sense of elation, like, oh fuck, thank God. My mom also, like I said, she recovered way before me. Um, but she also beat it. There was a sense of elation. And yeah, we are just celebrating and stuff, right? The thing is, one day I was in my room, right? And I was like just over there on the computer doing whatever. And like I started feeling like can't breathe. Or like my breath isn't going all the way down. Like you know when you breathe and like it your lungs or whatever the nerves in your lungs like give you this like your brain a signal like oh yeah you've had enough air now it's time to exhale like and it's like a really like satisfactory feeling like I can't emphasize that enough. It's like the satisfaction of having breathed deeply. I couldn't breathe deeply, my breath wasn't going in. This was after COVID. So and I really like panicked at that the first time I felt that, right? And so I was trying to do like there's this position you can do to try to like push air into the deep parts of your lungs. Now I knew like my lungs had been fucked, okay, because I was like out of breath and fatigued like at any slight sort of like physical exertion. So anyway, um I was doing that exercise like you basically lay in this position. You're like this and you breathe like that. Okay, so I was doing that, and it wasn't really giving a ton of relief, but I could feel that I was getting more oxygen in. The thing is, I later on I went to like see a doctor and everything, and my oxygen levels were like 98, 99%, even when I was feeling breathless. So I know like yeah, I have enough oxygen, but whatever damage was done to my lungs over here, like the nerves or whatever, I'm not a doctor, they're like just sending the signal that I'm not breathing in enough. And it's a bit like being tortured a bit, right? Breathlessness. I still feel like even right now, I still feel like I can't, it's not as bad as it was, but I still feel like I can't breathe in all the way, right? Sometimes, some days, like it's not there. Other days, like now, okay, that was deep, but yeah, other days it's like I can't breathe into myself, and it's fucking frustrating, man, right? The only solace I get from that is I know my blood oxygen levels are normal. well within normal, right? I never had like a really big lung capacity. Plus, I used to be like a smoker in the past, although I haven't smoked in years. So like I am. It is something that I know I'll have to deal with pretty much for a long time, and I know that like with the previous MERS, the Middle East, like Corona type virus, like patients were showing symptoms up to 5 years after they were showing lung damage 5 years after the initial infection. So those are like my main long COVID symptoms: breathlessness, the inability to feel the sense of like satisfaction after you take in a deep breath and you feel like, oh yeah, the oxygen's in there, right? Yeah. uh Other long-term COVID symptoms, like I get like like um just weird pains in my chest, right? And it's concerning, right? Although this doesn't happen too much anymore, thank God. But yeah, it that's another long-term COVID symptom of mine. And I think that's basically it. Right? Yeah. Cognitively, fortunately, I don't feel a lot of brain fog, or really any, thankfully. Um, well, physically, I don't really get too many muscle pains, but I'll go into that a little bit more. Um, I've been trying to like lose weight by exercising on there's an exercise bike right back there. Um, and this is not a strenuous cardio activity at all. I mean, it's a fucking bike, right? And it's on like level 2 difficulty out of 8. It's not hard. And usually I try to go for like 30 minutes. And then like that's basically my exercise for the day. And then like mixing that with intermittent fasting. But I injured myself pretty badly, like this leg over here, the last week, a whole fucking week. Like I don't know what happened, like the muscle like tore or something. I have no idea, but it was so fucking painful. um you can't sleep, you can't have it any way in particular. I think part of this general like weakness, this weak shit, has to do with like long COVID, because I've never experienced that in my life. It's a fucking exercise bike, dude. And so, yeah, things like that. So, that was my experience. Now, I have friends who have had very serious long COVID symptoms, and my heart genuinely goes out to them. Talking brain fog, fatigue, like persistent chills, persistent muscle pain, just of course like breathlessness way more than I'm experiencing. It's just bad shit, and it's for months and months and months to years. I have no idea how long this shit will go on for, So I genuinely feel like this was one hell of a fucking disease, you know. I call that motherfucker King Rona. And I don't say king in a positive way anyway, at all. Like, it's a very powerful disease. It's not the type of thing like you can blame someone for. It's a disease, right? It appeared randomly, so the story goes. And I kind of believe that. Um, yeah, just had its way with the masses, and hopefully, right now, the latest version of it is Omicron, which is supposed to be less severe than the original. I think I got the Delta strain, by the way, which is probably the worst one of the lot. Yeah, that was my experience. with COVID, and these are my current symptoms right now with post-COVID, long COVID as they call it. Um, what I can say is, if you're in the position, if you have never gotten it and you're in the position to get the vaccine, please get it. Okay, please use your brain. Okay, even if like you don't have a lot of symptoms, it still does lung damage, right? It still does heart damage too, and nerve damage. Just get the vaccine, spare yourself a hell of a lot of drama, and yeah, I got nothing more to add beyond that, you know. Get the vaccine. I hope that helped. If you're still dealing with long COVID, or you have COVID currently, like feel free to post and try to encourage you, or just try to send positive vibes best way that I could. I hope you have a great day, a great evening, wherever you are. Take care.